Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, you're going to be learning about the best places to live in Canada. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lakbadi Baju. I make lifestyle videos, so we talk about anything and everything. So please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get an alert when a new video comes up. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for coming back. I'm so happy to have you here. So let's jump into today's video. As I said earlier, we're going to be learning about the best places to live in Canada. So we all know Canada is a very great place to live in. But what is the hype about Canada? So there are about 10 provinces in Canada. So I'll just list them very quickly. We've got Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Newfoundland and Labrador, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. I think that's everything. And then we have the Northwest Territories. So you're going to find out which ones I believe are the best places to live in Canada. And please take note, I'm not shaming anywhere. Canada is actually a very great place to live, no matter where you're living, except for the Northwest Territories. But in general, Canada is actually a very good place to live in. So let's jump right into today's video. So Canada is home to about 37 million people, and it is the second largest country in the world. So the first being Russia. So it's the second in terms of land mass. It's actually a very big country, so which is why immigration is actually very popular here, because they need people, to fill up the space. So yeah, that's why immigration is, booming. And why do people move to Canada? So people move to Canada because of the stable economy. The standard of living is really great. They've got great education, good health, just a very wonderful place to live in. So what's the first place? So I'm going to be starting from the top. This is my personal preference, and I may be biased, but you catch the drift, right? Number one is Ontario. Ontario has a population of 14.5 million people. Yeah, so we're really a lot, and of course I live in Ontario, if you didn't know that. It's located in the center of Canada, and the largest city is there. So when you mention Ontario, you're thinking Toronto, you're thinking Brampton, Mississauga, London, Ontario, Markham. Those are the kind of the places that jump to you when you mention Ontario. And of course Ottawa as well, because Ottawa is the capital of Canada. So Ottawa is located in Ontario. Ontario is actually good because this is where the most jobs are. Like if you're going to be comparing to other provinces in Canada, there are so many jobs in Ontario, which is why most people usually want to move to Ontario. Like that's the first place they think of, even though it might not necessarily be the best, because there are other provinces and there are jobs in other places, right? So, but everyone wants to move to Ontario because that's where the most opportunities are. In general, the unemployment rate is about 6.8%. In Ontario, the popular universities there are University of Toronto, which is one of the top universities in the world. We've got York University, we've got University of Windsor, we've got University of Waterloo, we've got Western University. We've got so many universities, guys. So many universities. If you want to, and we've got tons of colleges. Like I can't even begin to mention. There are so many. So if you want to school in Ontario, you have so many options to choose from. So an average price for a home in Ottawa is about $450,000, and if you're looking at Toronto, an average price for a home is about $650,000. And when I say home, I'm referring to at least a 2-bedroom condo. That's for Toronto. So yeah, it is expensive. The standard of living is higher compared to other parts of Canada. So it is expensive to live in Ontario, but when you look at the proximity to good jobs, then you might, still consider living in Ontario, because there are more opportunities. So you make more money, but you're still paying for all those things. You're paying for housing, cars, and all of that. But anyway, it's actually great to live in Ontario. Popular landmarks in Ontario are the CN Tower, which is located in downtown Toronto. We've got the Ripley's Aquarium. We've got the Horseshoe Falls in St. Catharines. We've got Niagara Falls, which is in Niagara, bordered between Canada, Niagara, and Buffalo, New York, which is the United States. And we've got Rideau Falls in Ottawa. So there's so many places to go to in Ontario, to be honest. I haven't even been to half of them. So there are so many places to go to, so many cities, so many towns. Of course, if you don't want to live in, because I talked about the best places to live in southwestern Ontario in another video. I'll place a card somewhere up there. But if you don't want to live in or around Toronto, there are so many other places to live in. Depends on what you're looking for. So it depends on if you're a small family, if you're a single person, there are different reasons to live in different parts of Ontario, but Ontario is my number one on the list. Two is Quebec. Quebec is the French speaking part of Canada, and they've got 8.4 million people in population. It is the second largest city in Canada, so next to Ontario, and the capital is Quebec City. But I believe the largest city in Quebec is Montreal. So when you talk about Quebec, what comes to mind is Montreal, but actually the capital of Quebec is at Quebec City. Quebec is a very beautiful place. It gives you, I'll say, Europe vibes. It has that old city feel, and of course they're French speaking there, so it gives you that whole European, vibe there. So it's actually a really beautiful place to visit. I've been there before. And fun fact, the only other place I've been to in Canada, the only other province I've been to in Canada, apart from Ontario, is Quebec. As I said earlier, they're the second largest province, and it is the only province in Canada that has an autonomous government. So most of the government policies, if you are looking into immigrating to Canada, I'm sure you would have noticed that most of the policies will always exclude Quebec because they have their own autonomous policies. Other major cities in Quebec are Gatineau. I'm not French, so I may not pronounce them properly. We've got Sherbrooke, we've got Trois-Rivières, and we've got Saguenay. Those are the popular cities apart from Montreal and Quebec City. An average price of rent in Quebec is about $1,000, and that's like a two-bedroom apartment. Yeah, tuition rates are low compared to other provinces, so probably that is why some people will rather move to Quebec, because compared to Ontario, like, it's really close to Ontario, but things are a bit cheaper compared to Ontario. So we know the popular university, McGill University, is in Quebec. It's located in Quebec, and it's actually a really good university. So people usually want to attend that university and get that advantage of being in a French-speaking city and living in Canada. It's like a plus, because when it's time to look for a job, you'll have an upper edge compared to others because you're dual speaking. The landmarks in Quebec are Mount Royal in Montreal. We've got No Park. We've got Notre Dame Basilica of Montreal. La Citadelle de Quebec in Quebec City. Among other landmarks, Quebec has so many places to visit, so many places to sightsee when you go to Quebec. So yeah, that's my number 2. I'm done with the eastern part of Canada. Now I'm moving to the western part of Canada. And number 3 on my list is British Columbia. British Columbia is located in Western Canada, and it's bordered by the Pacific Ocean. So it's got a mountainous interior with diverse geography and coastal interior. If you love outdoor activities, then you definitely love living in BC. So we call it BC in Canada. BC. They've got a population of about 5 million people, and the capital of British Columbia is Victoria. But when you mention BC in Canada, what comes to mind? The most popular city is Vancouver. but the capital is Victoria. So other popular towns apart from Vancouver are Kelowna, Abbotsford, Surrey, Kamloops, Chilliwack, and the like. Vancouver has actually been on the list of most some of the popular or the best places to live in the world. Reason being, I'll say the reason is because it's a really beautiful city. So I heard. I haven't been there before, but people who've been there before actually talk about how great it is to live there. Like, they've got really great transportation system. Their healthcare is so on point, and the weather is great. Can you believe that? The weather is actually great in British Columbia compared to other parts of Canada. For example, I know I have family who live in Victoria, and when we are having a lot of snow here in the winter, they are having rain. Of course, they're used to it by now, but it could be annoying. But I mean, do you want to compare rain to snow? Like, seriously? Seriously? No. So I'll say in general, their weather is still one of the best in Canada. So if you're looking to move to Canada and you're scared of the snow, then you might consider living in BC. Many of the job opportunities in BC range from agriculture, forestry, construction, manufacturing, and the likes. But living in BC is actually really expensive. An average home pays a property tax of about $3,900. That's on the high side. To live in a major city comfortably, you need to earn at least an average of $80,000 annually. So if you want to live in Vancouver, for example, you need to earn at least $80,000 because it's really expensive to live in British Columbia. But I have friends who live there and they love it there. So yeah, you can give that a try if you're looking to immigrate to Canada. Popular universities there are the University of British Columbia, Vancouver Island University, and Simon Fraser University. Landmarks include Stanley Park, Granville Island, Happy Land Suspension Bridge, Gastown, among others. So that is my number 3. In Western Canada, number 4 on my list is Alberta. Alberta is home to 4.3 million people, also Western Canada, and it's really popular for hiking, skiing, outdoor activities. People who live there also love outdoor activities. That's not to say that those who live in Eastern Canada don't like outdoor activities, but what is popular, like what they're known for in those parts of Canada, are a lot. Like, they have so many activities that have to do with being outdoors. So the capital of Alberta is Edmonton, but the most popular city, so the largest city, is Calgary. So I'm sure if you probably have heard of Calgary when you mention Canada. So Calgary is in Alberta, in Western Canada. So other famous cities in Alberta are Red Deer, Grande Prairie, I didn't pronounce that properly, Grande Prairie, something like that, and Medicine Hat. So Alberta is popular for their famous cowboy culture. So I believe that's where the cowboys of Canada are. They have a very popular culture in Alberta, and there's this famous thing they do in the summer called the Cowboy Stampede. I believe that's what it's referred to. It's called the Calgary Stampede. It's a really huge part of their summer. So although Alberta is really close to BC, so they share borders, the weather is completely different. Like, it's a complete opposite of BC. The summers are really great, so they're very hot, just like it is in Ontario. Once it's summer, it's really hot, it's beautiful to be outside. When the winters are really cold, so they have winter temperatures as low as minus 40 degrees. So have that in mind if you're looking to move to Alberta. Their weather is really, really funky, and their winter actually comes earlier than ours in Ontario. So I remember at least a couple of years I've been here, by October, November, they're already having it heavy there, while we are still just warming up to the craziness called winter in Canada. But I know most people who are into oil and gas. That's a very broad description, but those who studied petroleum engineering or anything that has to do with oil and gas usually look for jobs in Alberta, because there are more jobs related to that there, since that's where the oil is. So if you're in that field, then you could consider living in Alberta or provinces close to that province. So popular landmarks in Alberta are the Banff National Park of Canada, which is actually one of the places I intend to go to someday. Athabasca Glacier, Lake Minnewanka, Peyto Lake, among others. So I have a lot of friends who live in Alberta, even those from university. I don't know why they chose to live in Alberta. I guess the standard of living compared to Ontario is lower. So yes, I definitely, people will move to Alberta because of that. Because if you're looking at, like, you know, in terms of job opportunities, healthcare and all of that, it's similar to Ontario, but standard of living is lower. So I guess people will rather just move to Alberta compared to living in Ontario. So yeah, good choice, you guys. That is number 4 on my list. We're moving to number 5, which is still Western Canada. And number 5 on my list is Manitoba. Manitoba is home to the Métis and the Aboriginal peoples of Canada. It's been home to them for over 6,000 years, so they're the original owners. Yep, they're the original owners of Canada. And it is home to 1.3 million people, so compared to other parts of Canada, they have fewer people, and you're going to know why very soon. The capital and the largest city in Manitoba is Winnipeg. So when you mention Winnipeg, just know that we're talking about Manitoba. Other popular cities in Manitoba are Brandon, Steinbach, and Winkler. I don't know those other places, but I've heard of Brandon, Manitoba, because my dad worked there for a while before he returned to Nigeria. So Manitoba is described as a city with natural beauty and really affordable place to live in. So yeah, of course, compared to other parts of Canada, don't even mention Ontario, it's actually a really good place to live in terms of standard of living and, you know, cost of housing. Things are more affordable there. And another thing to note is it is about 150 kilometers away from the United States, so people usually will drive to the United States from Manitoba as well. Just for those who are looking to move to Canada, if you're looking for a place that is affordable to live in, you should consider Manitoba. Now, the reason why there are fewer people there, in my opinion, is because the place is cold in the winter. It is cold. I know people who live there and will tell you that it is really, really cold. So in their winter here, in the winter, while in Ontario we might have temperatures as low as -15, you know, on a cold day, -15, -16. In Manitoba, they're looking at -20, -30, you know, like those kind of ridiculous numbers that you look at your phone and you're like, what the, you know, like it's really cold there. So, but I mean, if you're fine with the cold, it's just in the winter. The summers are great, you know, summer is the same with everywhere else. But if you're fine with that, if you're okay with that, then of course Manitoba is a great place to live in. So popular landmarks in Manitoba are Canadian Mountain National Park, the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, the Forks, the White Shell Provincial Park, amongst others. That is number 5. So number 6 coming up. This is the last on my list. Of course, there are still other provinces which we'll come to very shortly. But number 6 is, drumroll, Saskatchewan. Yes, number 6 is Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is on my list for a couple of reasons, and we'll get to that really shortly. So Saskatchewan is located in the middle of Canada. It's between Manitoba and Alberta. Wrong description, but you get the gist. It's in the middle. So most of their population live in 2 major cities. The capital of the province is Regina, and there's another smaller city known as Saskatoon. So according to my research, most people live in either Regina or Saskatoon. So, you know, it's a really small province compared to, not in terms of landmass, but in terms of population, they've got really few people. So they've got a population of 1.1 million people. The popular activities, according to my research, there's hunting, fishing, a bit of hiking, you know. And popular cities there are Prince Albert, apart from Saskatoon and Regina. So we've got Prince Albert, Moose Jaw, Swift Current, Yorkton. So funny names, but yeah, those are the other cities in Saskatchewan. Now, what's the benefit of living in Saskatchewan? Housing costs are way cheaper. Like, I don't even know what to compare it with here because I don't know. Like, housing is way cheaper compared to living anywhere else, basically. You find people living in townhouses, like 2 or 3 bedroom townhouses, and then you ask them how much they're paying, renting the space for. They tell you like maybe 1,300, like, and it sounds so foreign to me. I'm like, what? No, that's definitely not the case in Ontario. If you live in other parts of Canada, I'd like to know, like, what's the average price to rent, like maybe a 2 or 3 bedroom townhouse. I really like to know. Just let me know in the comments. Education is quite affordable, and housing, just as I said, is, and their healthcare is organized. I'll guess that is largely because they've got fewer people to deal with there compared to provinces with more people in there. I'll give you a very good example. In Ontario, for instance, if you go to the emergency room, you probably have to wait for a couple of hours before you're attended to, even though you are in the emergency room, but they have a larger volume of patients to deal with. Unlike in smaller provinces, they have fewer people to deal with, so they tend to attend to you faster. So other I'll say landmarks in Saskatchewan. So I haven't been there, but I hope to go there someday. Someday when all of this is over, the craziness going on in the world right now. Alberta National Park, Grasslands National Park, the Royal Saskatchewan Museum, and the likes. So yeah, those are my top 6 provinces, my recommendations. So if you're planning or looking to move to Canada anytime soon, Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. We've got the other province I'll say that would have got into my list is Nova Scotia, because I've heard really good stuff about the place. And just as I said at the beginning of this video, this is not to shame other provinces, because trust me, Canada is a really great place to live in for so many reasons. We've kind of touched on some of them. So of course, if you're planning to move to a place, you do some of the research on your own. This is just like a broad just like an overview, just to give you an idea if you're looking to move to Canada. So Nova Scotia would have been on my list, but it got chunked out, moved away because of Saskatchewan, because I kind of prefer Saskatchewan to Nova Scotia. And there are a lot of resources right now, trust me, on YouTube, on the internet, on Instagram, like so many people who have decided to take this upon themselves to just make things easier for other new immigrants coming in. Like on Instagram, for example, we've got people like Life in Nova Scotia, or Halifax Mom, the Lagos Canada Mom, Niger Canada Mom. Like, there's so many people, and they live in different provinces in Canada, who share their experiences and give you insights to living in all those different parts of Canada. So I will try to list some of those handles in my description box, so that at least you can visit those pages and try to see what I'm talking about, like giving you insights to some of those provinces. So as I said, the other provinces are Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, and Prince Edward Island. And of course, we've got the Northwest Territories, which isn't a province. Excuse me, it's not a province. It is referred to as territories because it's just a really huge space, and really close to the North Pole. So it is so cold. It's so cold there. I don't even know if it's habitable. I heard one time that they're not able to grow crops there, so they usually have to bring in most of the stuff they have to eat from other provinces, which makes it expensive. But people who have to go up there to work, I don't really know what kind of jobs, but people who have to go up there to work really get paid like really great. So I mean, if that is an option for you, I guess you could consider. I'm not sure what type of jobs they are though, but the internet is your best friend. We've come to the end of today's video. The best places to live in Canada. Let's chat in the comments, if you have other opinions. So if you disagree with me, of course, let's chat, let's discuss in the comments. Let me know what you think, or if you have any question, like if you're looking to move to Canada very soon and you have questions about things that happen in Canada, yeah, let me know. I may be able to help you. And if I'm not able to help you, I can direct you to people who can help, because trust me, there are so many resources out there compared to when we were coming to Canada, or people who even came before me. Like, the resources are out there now, they're everywhere. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And I don't think I mentioned this in any of my videos. I always leave it in the description box, but I just thought I should mention there's a giveaway coming up when we hit 500 subscribers. So it would be nice for you to share this video among your friends, families, to get us to 500 subscribers, and definitely the giveaway will come up just, you know, as soon as we hit 500 subscribers, just, you know, as a form of appreciation to you guys for watching me, even though I haven't been consistent with posting videos, but you guys are always there to watch my videos, and I really appreciate that. So let's get us to 500 subscribers, guys. So on that note, if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe. Please, please, please subscribe. Don't leave here without subscribing. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.